With the recent changes in the child tax credit, I want to make sure that you're thinking about things correctly so you don't make these 6 mistakes. But before we get into it, if this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, certified financial planner, helping you reach your financial goals. So we're going to get right into it with mistake number 1, not knowing that there are actually 2 phase outs for the child tax credit. Yes, that's right. There are 2 phase outs. So the new phase out, which is for the full $3,000 or $3,600, starts at either $75,000 for singles, $112,500 for head of household, and $150,000 for married filing jointly. But there is a second phase out, and that is the original phase out, which is still in play. And that's at either $200,000 or $400,000 for married filing jointly. So what this means is for the first phase out, that is the additional $1,000 or $1,600. That is how we get to the full $3,000 or $3,600, because the original child tax credit at $2,000 still qualifies for either that $200,000 or $400,000 level, which brings me to mistake number 2. Thinking that the first phase out are the only phase outs that will qualify or disqualify you from receiving your monthly check. Those monthly checks that are going to start on July 15th could still have amounts in that check even if you're significantly over the $150,000, $112,500, or the $75,000 phase outs, because that is only for the additional $1,000 or $1,600. The full amount still calculates for the monthly check. So if you're doing this math, the full amount is either $3,000 or $3,600. So those checks will either be up to $250 or $300, depending on the age of your child. So that means even if you don't qualify for the first phase out, there's still the second phase out, and you could still possibly get a monthly check and also qualify for the child tax credit at the end of the year when you file your taxes for 2021 in 2022. Which brings me to mistake number 3, thinking that you need income. You actually do not need to have income. And this isn't just for those that don't have a job or earned income, but think also about a small business. If you had a downturn in your year and unfortunately you weren't profitable, so you don't have any earned income, when it comes to the child tax credit, it's still 100% fully refundable. So that means even if you don't have that income and you don't meet those thresholds, you could still get the maximum amount of the child tax credit. So $3,000 or $3,600 per child. And mistake number 4, thinking that you're not gonna have to pay this back. It's not free money per se, it is a credit, but it's an advance credit on a monthly basis. So what that means is when you file your taxes in 2022 for 2021, you're still gonna put that you apply and you qualify for the child tax credit, but if you already got that money in advance, that doesn't mean that you're gonna get it again. So let's say that your income increases and you're over some of these phase outs. So the original math on those monthly checks calculated that you're gonna get more than you're actually entitled to. Yes, you will have to pay it back. Now that could mean you get less of a refund, or you might have to actually cut a check to the IRS because it will show up on your tax liability, because a credit goes against each dollar of your tax liability. So if you have a $3,000 tax credit from the child tax credit and you have a $3,000 tax liability, that would equal 0. But if you got half of that back, meaning you got half of that $3,000 back, well, guess what? That means you're still gonna have a $3,000 tax liability, but you're only gonna get $1,500 when you file your taxes because you already got that other $1,500. So that could mean you might have to pay it back. What's the best thing to do to figure this out? Go back to your IRS Form W-4 and make sure that your withholdings are correct, and do that again later in the year just to check to make sure that you're on track so you don't have a surprise and you don't have to cut a check to the IRS when you go ahead and file your taxes in 2022. Mistake number 5, thinking this is free money. Yes, it's kind of like a stimulus because you're getting it back. The IRS and the government is really trying to smooth out your taxes so you don't get these big refunds and you don't have to owe at the end of the year. So one way they're trying to do it to help families is take that child tax credit, get it back in your pocket a little bit earlier to help ease your financial burdens. But if that information that they're going off of was from 2019 or 2020, and your taxable situation is way different in 2021, that means if you earn more money, you're gonna have to pay that money back, like I talked about in mistake number 4, which brings me to mistake number 6. Thinking that you shouldn't go in and update or even verify your information. Now, I really wish the IRS wouldn't tell people not to go into the portal when it goes live to check to see the math is correct, that they know exactly how much money they're gonna get from their child tax credit, because your information could be way different. And if you're not certain that the IRS has even received your 2020 taxes or processed them, maybe you're still waiting for your refund check, which would be a good indicator that they haven't processed it and haven't received it yet. So verify, no matter what, even if you got your refund, it doesn't matter. Go in when that portal goes live, make sure the math is correct, update it if necessary. Because I'll tell you from my experience, the IRS does not always have the most updated information and they're extremely backed up at this point. So a lot of things could be out of date. Case in point, when I filed my own taxes, I put my banking information on my return, and guess what? They sent me a physical check. So you do want to make sure that the information is accurate, it is up to date on the IRS portal. So stay tuned for when that goes live. It's not live yet, but it should be up and running before that first payment, before July 15th. So when that time comes, go in and verify it, make sure that it's accurate, just so you can know and have peace of mind that you qualify, that they know that you qualify, so you don't get any surprises when that time comes if you're expecting the check. So those were 6 mistakes with the child tax credit. If you have any questions on the child tax credit, any of these changes on whether or not you might qualify, let me know in the comments down below. I'll either answer it or do it on future videos. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.